out there and tell somebody about Jesus.
How's everybody doing today?
Come on, somebody. Nothing's sticking anymore. Well, can't work in my office today. It's flooded.
Man, there's just a good vibe happening today. Welcome to Podcast 93, everybody.
93!
All right. New intro music coming soon.
Coming soon. It's going to be really fun, actually.
Excited about that.
Super pumped about it.
Yeah, we got some interesting stuff here on our coffee table.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you are listening to this podcast, which most of you probably are, and we're so grateful that you're listening to us. Thank you so much, guys, for listening to our podcast.
Gracias.
But this episode 93, of all of the 93 episodes we've ever had, this is when you're going to want to watch on YouTube.
Yep, we got something coming for you. But before we get into, I guess this is a drink, a brand new drink.
Yeah, and you guys are gonna get to see live our reactions. Well, not live, but you're gonna get to see our reactions on camera, and that you obviously won't really be able to see that if you're listening on Spotify or podcast or wherever you're listening from.
Yeah.
So watch YouTube for this one.
And I wanted to, before we try, hold on, let me see this. Is this a Pepsi product?
I don't know.
Is Dr. Pepper a Pepsi product? We have Dr. Pepper in our hand if you're just listening.
Yeah.
I got a 20 ounce of Dr. Pepper. I don't know if Dr. Pepper's a Pepsi product or not.
I'll look it up real quick.
All right.
I'm looking it up live on the podcast.
There's a few reasons we have this. I heard this wild story just the other day, and it blew my mind. It's a quick story, and I'll share it with you. There was a guy who put a lawsuit in against Pepsi.
Yeah.
Because he claimed there was a mouse in his Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
And so he filed a lawsuit. It went to court, and he ended up losing the lawsuit because Pepsi proved that a mouse dissolves in Mountain Dew in 2 days. And it takes longer for the Mountain Dew once it's capped in the factory to get to the store.
Yeah.
And so the mouse would have dissolved in the Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
So what?
So you told me this, and I was shocked.
Yeah.
And then I was like, let me see. I'm going to fact check this. Because not that I didn't believe you, but I just wanted to read about it.
Nice.
So I went and I read like 3 articles about it.
Okay.
And the first one was like, the headline was like, PepsiCo wins battle, but now faces a brand new war.
Yeah. Yes. And apparently the guy's lying that there was a mouse in his Mountain Dew.
Yes.
But we got a whole other situation now in our hands, folks.
Because if
worse than the first.
Because if Mountain Dew can dissolve a mouse, what does it do to you?
Yeah, exactly.
So you guys can think that I'm weird for this, but I heard this, I read that article, and then I was like, okay, so what does it actually do? What is the thing in Mountain Dew that will dissolve a mouse? And so
what's the chemical?
I did a deep dive. I did a deep dive into this for like 20 minutes. And I don't know if that's a deep dive, but it seemed like it to read about Mountain Dew. And because I was like, is there like, I don't think sugar breaks stuff down like that. So it's like, it can't be the sugar. And it's actually not the sugar in Mountain Dew that breaks a mouse down. And from what I could read, they would say that the mouse would break down into like, it wouldn't totally dissolve, but it wouldn't become it wouldn't be a solid. It would break down to become like a gelatin.
Oh.
Which is really nasty.
So that got us excited to try the newest drink.
Yeah.
Is Dr. Pepper Pepsi company?
No, it's not. Dr.
Okay.
Pepper's Coca-Cola. It's owned by Coca-Cola.
So apparently Dr. Pepper hired Coffee Mate.
That's right.
To make a creamer for the Dr. Pepper.
For Dr. Pepper. Yeah.
And they call it a dirty soda.
Yeah.
And the creamer that Coffee Mate came up with, the flavor of cream was coconut lime.
Yeah.
And so we looked it up online, and apparently Kroger was selling it. So we sent Kayla out to get some Dr. Pepper creamer.
Yeah.
And because we wanted to try it.
We want to try it.
We want to try it. I heard about this about a month ago on the radio where they brought this up and to kind of give their opinion on it. They never tasted it, but they gave their opinion on it. And I thought when they mentioned this idea of creamer in your Dr. Pepper, it sounded good, especially a coconut lime creamer.
Yeah. Sparked your interest.
Piqued my interest.
Yeah.
So we're going to try it today. And so we'll start by... So we've got, I should give a preference here about sending Kayla out to buy the creamer.
Yeah, yeah.
The website said Kroger had the creamer by Coffee Mate for Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
The flavor is coconut lime. When she got there, it wasn't there. So she bought coconut creamer and then she bought limes.
Yes.
So we've got the limes that we're going to squeeze into.
Yeah.
And we'll stir it up.
I think she said they had the spot for it, but they were out of stock.
So it's out of stock. That means everybody's buying it.
That means it must be good, right?
Oh.
Let's crack open this Dr. Pepper.
ASMR. Oh.
Oh, I just want to take a sip, you know?
That tastes good.
Oh, man, I haven't had Dr. Pepper in a long time.
Of course. So
good.
pouring my Dr. Pepper into my cup. I gotta leave room for cream.
Okay.
I hope this is good because I plan on sipping on this for the rest of the podcast.
I know this. I don't have a bottle of water or anything. This is my podcast.
Exactly. Here's the coconut creamer by Coffee Mate.
Right. Not sponsored by Dr. Pepper, but wish we were.
Or we're not sponsored by Coffee Mate either.
Wish we were.
If you're out there, go ahead.
Yeah. If you're a rep from Dr. Pepper or Coffee Mate listening.
I guess that's it. I guess that's a good amount.
Yeah, I have no idea how. I feel like you probably put in more than you would coffee.
Do you want to stir it with the straw?
Yeah, I definitely need a straw to stir.
All right, I'm gonna stir mine.
I have no idea how much to put in, but like I said, I feel like it's more than you would put into a coffee.
Yeah, this is more. This is a lighter color than I would normally do, but I'm so excited. I just did it. All right, so here's our plate of cut up limes. Go ahead, grab a wedge that looks delicious.
Got a wedge.
These are good looking limes. All right.
And here we go, squeezing this lime in here.
Oh, that's good. I love lime.
I did too.
You want another one? Nah.
No, I'll take a giant wedge. So.
All right.
Okay.
Now I'm going to stir it.
Stirring it up.
Just a little bit.
I'll make sure that lime gets everywhere in there.
Exactly.
Okay.
I don't like drinking out of straws.
No?
So I'm just gonna put my straw away. All right.
I normally don't like drinking out of straws, but I'm going to drink out of straw this time.
Dirty soda.
Here we go.
Wow.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Wow.
That's better than I thought.
Initially, a rush of coconut, then lime, and then it finishes like a Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
You get that too?
Yep, exactly. You get that. The creamer's really coconutty.
My goodness. That gets, it's weird how your brain works. Once you know it's good, the next step's even better.
That's really good.
Now I'm getting a lot of coconut on the finish.
You can really easily
taste
all three ingredients.
I don't know if I just put in the right amount of creamer.
Oh, that's so good.
That's so good. That's so good. Hey, Dr. Pepper, you did it again.
That's good.
You scallywag, you.
So
My
good.
goodness. Coconut creamer.
Oh, yeah.
And your Dr. Pepper with a squeeze of lime.
That's a good drink.
Tastes like the beach.
Yeah, it does. Tastes like you should be sipping that.
Do you like pina coladas?
I love pina coladas.
That's an elevated pina colada, maybe?
I don't know if it's an elevated pina colada, but
It's a different kind of pina colada.
yeah, it definitely has that beachy pina colada feel.
My goodness, that was good.
I'll be honest.
I'm excited to sip on that for the rest of the podcast.
Yeah, I was not expecting that to be that good, but
No.
it exceeded my expectations.
Wow. That's delicious. So I'm gonna have more of that.
That was good.
I know. That was really good.
Now so Dr. Pepper is a very unique pop. Very
Yeah.
unique soda pop.
No, you're right. It's different from all the others.
So I'm wondering how this might taste in some other drinks.
I know. Like, I don't think I'd want this in like a Sprite.
No, I don't really think I'd want it in like a cola either.
I don't know. Huh. It just tastes good.
But it's good.
I gotta have another sip.
That's good. Whew.
Man. I really like coconut though.
I love coconut.
And I really like lime.
Yep. So all three of these flavors are
Yeah.
flavors that I really like.
That's why I was excited about it.
I love coconut. I love lime.
It's not like we're dumping in French vanilla creamer. That just would be terrible.
That'd be terrible.
Terrible. All right, let's get into the meat of the podcast today.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it.
Benjamin Franklin has a quote,
I like it.
and he says this. It's really good. I just realized today that usually we have Bible passage that we bring, but I guess we're bringing a Ben Franklin quote today. It's okay. We got some stuff. We just got stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we just got stuff to talk about.
He says most men die at 30, but are buried at 80.
Yeah. Woo, man.
Yeah. And as a man, that hits me.
Yeah, it really hits. And when you said that, I was like, whoa. I mean, obviously Ben Franklin was around a long time ago,
Yeah.
but I feel like that quote rings very true today.
There is a tendency, I think, to kind of give up a little bit. I don't know if it like at age 30 all of a sudden like you're ready to give up. But man, it really does feel like people do give up around that age with like health.
I think about with like
Marriage.
dreams, passions,
Marriage. Yeah.
Man, it's kind of sad. And then you see so many people who are just content to just like ride out their lot till the end of their days.
Yeah, they. I guess they could like, I don't know, like settle into a rut.
Yeah.
And just kind of like die every day. But
Right.
I don't know. I heard this, man. This is crazy. This is a true statistic too, and we all know this first fact that I'm about to say that 50% of all marriages end in divorce.
Yeah.
50%.
It's crazy.
That's a bad statistic.
Terrible statistic.
And then 78% of second marriages end in divorce.
Wow.
So, and that's because people don't change.
Right.
that there was a reason there for divorce,
Yeah.
and then they bring that into their second marriage, and you have less patience.
Yeah.
So you're 78% divorce rate. But listen to this, Pastor Aaron. They did real good research, and they found out that couples that pray together, the divorce rate is less than 1%.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That is insane.
It's really good. And one of the reasons I bring that up is essentially because it does feel like that at some age around 30, people cash in,
Yeah.
settle a little bit. Like they stop pursuing their spouse.
Right.
They stop trying to get like promoted with their jobs.
Yeah.
And there's all reasons for that.
Yep.
Maybe you just were failing a lot and you just finally said, I'm done.
Right. Right.
Maybe you had like a terrible incident and it really took the passion out of you.
Right.
And you just cash in. Like
For sure.
I'm done. And I don't want to be like that.
No. Let me counter. I don't know if counter is the right word, but let me add another quote. This one's not from Benjamin Franklin. It's largely accredited to C.S. Lewis, but some people will debate that C.S. Lewis says it because the theology is not quite 100% accurate.
All right.
But it's a great quote nonetheless. And so supposedly maybe C.S. Lewis said this, but he said that I hope that the day that I die, hell rejoices because I've been taken out of the fight.
Sure. That's pretty good.
And I think like that is the kind of a life that I would much rather live.
Yeah.
I want to live a life that I was passionate, because that quote kind of inspires passion till the very end.
Oh, yeah. Drive to the end.
A drive to the end. And that is something that I want to be known for. I remember years ago, I was challenged, I think maybe initially by you, and you were my youth pastor, when I was even like in high school, to have 3 main core values. That you live your life by these 3 core values. And one of those things for me is passion. I want to be passionate till the very end, have a drive till the very end.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be that man that dies at 30 but's buried at 80.
No, definitely not. I really like to think about this like your pursuit of God, your pursuit of your family, and the pursuit of your career. Keeping those things high passion, high drive, high pursuit. Start with God. Your identity comes from God.
Yeah.
Who you are comes from God. Your sonship, your eternal destiny, you're sealed by God.
Come on.
Pursue God like crazy. Then pursue your family.
Yeah.
Pursue your spouse, your children, your brothers and sisters if you can still, your mom and dad if it's healthy to do so, pursue them. Your family, and then your career. Like put your hand to something.
Yeah.
And do it passionately to the best of your ability. Don't give up. Don't quit. Go after it.
Yeah. And I think I'm gonna just say something really quick. I think that for young people, for high schoolers, teenagers, young adults, we can tend to, if you're in even a healthy mindset, you can get those first 2. You can be passionate about those first 2. Like if you're a Christian and you're a young adult, you can clearly see that, man, I want to be passionate about God.
Yeah.
I want to be passionate about my family. Whatever stage of family you're in right now, you want to be passionate about it. Then we can get to our job and be like, oh, I don't want to be passionate about that.
Yeah.
I was thinking about me, especially like when I was in high school, or even like maybe a little bit out of high school, kind of like that college age. Was like
the jobs you have in high school are hard to be passionate about.
Yeah,
is that what you're thinking?
This job was just I needed money, and this job provides a way for me to get money.
Yeah.
But even those kind of jobs, do those with excellence.
Yes.
Do those jobs with passion. Learn how to have a good work ethic. Do those things well, and you will be so much better for it than if you show up to work every day just ready to complain and feel like, I got to get through till 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Can't wait till I can clock out of here.
Oh man, I know. I worked construction for 5 summers in a row, and the work ethic that I saw, the attitude that I saw, the passion, and the workers that I saw, woo! I mean, I don't want to say this and seem like too harsh or anything like that, but there was one in particular crew that I was working on, Pastor Aaron, with this construction, where these are such terrible people.
Yeah.
That it felt like every day I was in hell.
Man.
Terrible people. Woo. And that, to me, in my mind, that hell is full of all those people that I was working with on that particular construction crew. Like, there's no doubt in my mind, unless there's some sort of faith in Jesus and repentance, that's the kind of people that are abiding and down in the depths, man. And just terrible people, and it wears on you. It wears you out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I could see how you would want to just quit.
Yeah.
Like just say, I give up.
I'm out of here.
I'm out. Yeah. Or like, I don't know, just stay there. But like, it's a rut. It's a lifestyle of just you're in this rut. But like to come out of that, to get out of that, to not let that get on you, to somehow come to the job every day, but be a different kind of influence.
Oh, yeah.
Raise the bar, demand better, demand higher, all these things, like that's within our power.
Yeah.
And let's not be these guys where we die at 30, but we're buried at 80.
Yeah, it's so good. I love that.
There's this other like great guy out there, and he has this other quote. He says, every man out there eventually will trade innocence for experience.
Right.
And I think about this as a parent. Me and my wife, we try so hard to make sure that our kids are protected.
Yeah, absolutely.
And innocent.
Absolutely.
We don't want them to see something, hear something.
Yeah, for sure.
We don't want that. But here's the interesting thing, Pastor Aaron, is I know without a doubt that one day my kids won't be innocent anymore.
Right. Yeah, and when you first brought this quote up, I was like, I don't know which side of that I want to be on. Because at first I was kind of thinking like in that, almost that parent role, like there's some things I don't want to trade my innocence for experience in. But then I was thinking about it more, and there's a moment where eventually you are not going to, like, you're going to have to get into the real world. Right? And I was thinking about...
You have... yes, you're going to deal with the world.
You're going to deal with the world. And
if you're going to make an impact on the world, you got to deal with the world.
Exactly. And I was thinking, it made me think of two things. It made me think about, I think it's when Paul, he says, he's talking about living differently and living above reproach and not being around certain types of people. And then he said, but I'm not talking about worldly people, because if you wanted to avoid that entirely, you'd have to leave earth.
Yes.
He's like, I'm talking about inside the church. And so I was thinking about that, and then I was thinking about, because you're right, if we're going to make an impact on the world, you have to be in the world. You're going to be influenced, or at least maybe not influenced, but you're going to be around the world.
Yeah.
And if you're going to make an impact in it, and that's what we're called to do, we're called to make an impact.
I see for sure, like, Jesus wasn't ever innocent. He was there when the world was created. He created everything. He's been there with humanity from the beginning until he came into the earth as a baby. He knew that what the world entailed. He knew mankind, right? He wasn't innocent.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you see this I don't know what, like this, like he's hidden until he's 30.
Yeah.
And then he's released.
Right.
Where like God was protecting him, and then he was released.
Yeah.
And he was released out of that protection. We do that as parents with our children, that there is this moment of go.
Yeah.
Go out into the real world. And we know, Pastor Aaron, as parents, as pastors.
Yeah. Yep.
Especially, I used to be a youth pastor. You are a youth pastor.
Yep.
That the kids you get, 7th graders, when you come in as 7th graders to the time they're seniors, they're different by the time they're seniors.
Oh, yeah. Massive difference.
Massive difference in who they are. That's because they traded innocence for experience along the way.
Yeah.
And we chat about this too, Pastor Aaron, that everybody must everybody will get out into the real world eventually. So where do you want your children to learn about the world?
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you want your children to learn about the world?
Yeah, I think how is a great question, because even as a youth pastor, I've had this conversation with multiple parents, and I don't think it's a bad conversation. I don't think the parent's heart is ever in a bad place. I think it's in a great place where they're wanting to protect their kid. But especially those like 7th, even 8th graders, or maybe a brand new student, families new to the church, or students new to coming to Ignited, our youth ministry. And their parents will talk to me and be like, man, do you guys ever talk about drugs or pornography or drinking, sex, things like that?
Yeah.
Because I just, my kid's really not exposed to any of that.
Awesome.
And yeah, great.
You're a good parent. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. Part of me wants to be like, well, does your kid go to school or like
You kind of have some
phone?
questions.
Like,
You have some questions. Yeah. Does your kid have a phone?
Because they probably know a little bit more than you think they do.
Yeah, they probably do.
But at this, I'm like, that's awesome. Great. I'm so like that's awesome that your kid has been protected from that. But then my question is as they're growing up, they are going to learn about these things.
Yes, they are. Eventually, they are.
Eventually, they're going to. And as their youth pastor, I would much rather them learn about it in the healthy environment of ministry.
Yeah.
And hear it from a biblical perspective and spiritual authority of their youth pastor, their small group leader, someone who genuinely cares about them as a person and cares about their soul versus, Billy from school.
Oh man, sheesh. This is a sad part of just the world we live in, Pastor Aaron, is that they're going to be exposed,
right?
But that exposure does not have to lead to bondage.
Yes, that's so good. That's a great line.
So, how do we get them to be exposed or educated, but not put into bondage?
Right.
I would say the best ways we have these days would be parents talking with their kids.
Yeah.
And pastors talking to the kids.
Yep.
That healthy Christian parents and healthy Christian pastors educating about dangers.
Yeah.
And traps of the enemy, and giving them a way to not fall into the trap.
Yep.
Showing them how not to get trapped in this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that one of the best ways to help people not get into bondage about things that they're exposed to or experienced is to have healthy conversations about them, and to bring it into a light where this is not a taboo topic. Because if it becomes this taboo topic, we don't ever talk about drugs in our youth ministry, or we don't ever, then if a student is dealing with something and they're trying to seek repentance and seek redemption and they're coming to this place of where they have that God-given sorrow, but they don't know what to do with it because their connect group leader said this is a taboo topic.
Yeah.
Their youth pastor said we don't ever talk about this. Their parents said we don't talk about pornography in this house. Like, if it's become a taboo topic, then when they are feeling godly sorrow, they're probably not going to want to bring it up to you.
I would say it's less likely that it's very important that kids understand that you can come to mom and dad about
Absolutely.
anything.
Yeah.
And because I've been there before.
Yeah.
All right. So don't do it alone. Don't experience it alone. Don't have shame alone. Don't worry. Just come to me. I'm not going to be upset with you. I'm here for you. You know?
Oh yeah.
They need to know that. But if you don't have that open dialogue, then they will not come to you.
Yeah.
They will go to anybody else. They'll go to their friends first, or they'll even come to us youth pastors. With stuff because maybe we've told them, hey, if anything's ever going on, I will help you. I'll help you. I'm not going to be angry at you.
Yeah.
And but so you got to kind of create that that environment in your home where your children can feel safe around you. It's a sad thing to think about, but maybe the truth that every single person will trade innocence for experience.
Yeah.
But how?
Yeah.
How are they doing that?
Right.
Is so important.
So important. I want to back this up with one quick story that I heard. Kind of back up this idea of, it's one thing to say, I was thinking about even as a youth pastor, it's one thing to say to the kids in my youth ministry that I so care about, hey, you guys, you can call me, text me, come talk to me. If you got something on that you don't know what to do with, come and talk to me. And I say that to students all the time. It's one thing to say it, and it's another thing to back it up. I heard a story, great story from a great pastor who's actually had come up to our church multiple times. He's since passed away, Pastor Rick Clendenin.
Yeah.
And he was one of the funniest guys that I've ever heard preach. I'm not sure if he was always trying to be funny, but he just had this southern, hillbilly, Kentucky accent and way of talking that made me laugh.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember, I was young. He hasn't been up to our church in a long, long time. And I still remember the story he told about one of his boys, I think it was his oldest son, where they were at the dinner table. And his son had come home from school and they were talking. And his son said, "Dad, what does this mean?" And he dropped an F-bomb.
Oh, wow.
And Rick Clinton was like, I got my belt out so fast. I was like, come here, boy. He's like, "You'll never say that." He's just like started laying into him. And his wife was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "You didn't hear what he said." And he's like, "Yeah, I heard what he said. Did you hear what he said?" And she's like, No. You didn't hear what he said before that.
Wow.
She said, he asked, "What does that mean?" And he realized, he's like, I'd been telling him, you can come to me.
Wow.
But then when he did, I was having trouble backing that up.
Yeah.
Because all I wanted to do was bring condemnation on that. But he didn't. He was just so curious. What does this even mean?
Yeah.
And so I think that's so important for us. If we're going to create a healthy environment for people to trade that innocence for experience in, if we're going to create that how in a healthy way, we can't just say it. We got to do it as well. We got to back it up.
Yeah. It's good. We'll end with this. There's some other things that we wanted to talk about today, but we're over our time that we usually go to. and I'll just say this, that I feel like nowadays, Pastor Aaron, parents have to work even harder than ever before to protect their children.
Absolutely.
And I myself have to work hard to protect myself. But I know how to protect myself because I know about the dangers.
Come on. That's right.
We've got to teach the next generation about the dangers.
Right.
Or else they'll walk into them.
Yep. So good.
Yeah.
That's so good.
We'll end right there.
I love it.
Awesome. Wow, what a great podcast.
Great podcast.
This was a hearty cup of dirty soda.
Dirty soda. Man,
That's
every time I take a sip, I'm like, I forget how good it was.
it's delicious, my friend.
So good. Y'all got to try this.
I'm excited to share this with my friends. There's a couple people waiting outside these doors, and I think they're excited to try it too. Anyway, it's been great to be with you today, audience.
So good.
I recommend you try a dirty soda, which is a Dr. Pepper and coconut creamer with lime.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Because you probably won't find the actual Dr. Pepper creamer anywhere. So just get coconut creamer and lime because it's very good.
You hear that? That's the sound of taste. And we'll end on this. I don't want to work.
I just want to bang on this mug all day.
Bye.
See you, everybody.
Get out there and tell somebody about Jesus.
How's everybody doing today?
Come on, somebody.
Nothing's sticking anymore.
Well, can't work them off today. It's flooded.
Man, there is just a good vibe happening today.